Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are new here. As you can tell by the title and thumbnail, this video is about Alana and Brock Harris from the Harris family.
The Harris family saga is why we should always be suspicious of people whose children are the center of their social media content.
I myself live 15 minutes away from Alana, so I used to see her when I'd go grocery shopping, and I thought it was pretty cool because obviously she was a big TikToker, someone famous in our area. They look like the cutest family. Like Alana just looked like a beautiful mother who loved to wear flowy dresses and was just so innocent and happy and just a beautiful mum. And then Daisy got sick and she started posting all these things. And I did think to myself, why the fuck is she smiling? Like, she would be holding her child, like, who is unconscious with tubes in her, and she's like...
Hi, my name is Kristen, and I've never made a video like this before, but all these Harris family allegations are really striking a nerve with me, and I need to talk about it. They're striking a nerve with me because I do have a medically complex child. My child's brain is covered in tumors. My child's heart does have tumors. My child's kidneys do have tumors on them because my child does have tuberous sclerosis complex, or TSC, which is what the mother claimed this child has. I'm not sure, and that's what I'm here to talk about, because medically none of this is making any sense to me at all. My daughter does have uncontrolled epilepsy. She still has a seizure pretty much daily, sometimes multiple times a day. A day without a seizure in our house is rare and very much appreciated. But even then, they still have not done surgery on my child because they cannot pinpoint a close enough location on which tumor is causing my daughter to have seizures. That's why I'm saying none of this makes sense to me.
This is a clear reason why putting your kids on social media needs to be heavily regulated. Like, what happened was awful, but it was, in my view, the story of what this mother did garnered her attention, and she thrived off that attention, and that attention was exponentially exacerbated by posting TikToks of her situation.
And if you don't know who Alana and Brock are, this is Alana and that is Brock. I believe Brock's full name is Broxton. In the Daily Mail article from a few years ago, it says that Alana and Brock met on Facebook in 2019, and then since then they've had 3 children. So they have 3 and under, I believe, and they did have custody of, I think it's Brock's sister, and they use her for content, but that is besides the point right now. And their biggest platform on social media was on TikTok. I say was because they have since either deleted it or the Queensland police have taken the account down because of this alleged crime. So everything in this video I'm going to say is alleged. I've done as much digging as I possibly can, but right now there are no charges being laid, and it works differently from what I learned on social media. It works differently in Australia. First of all, they don't like when people talk about cases publicly because they say it's going to hurt the case. But my opinion, and I'm a nobody, but my opinion is that I don't see how it can hurt the case. She is not a celebrity. She is an influencer with, honestly, with TikTok, just 1.1 million. I've heard the comparison. That's like having like 10 to 20,000 on YouTube. So she's really a nobody when you think about it. And anyway, so it's alleged that she gave her child substances, her 1-year-old daughter, and to make her appear sick or more sick than she actually was. And so, by the way, in Australia, Canada is also one of the places that there is no creator fund. She doesn't make money on TikTok unless she does sponsorships or does TikTok lives, which I have no idea if she ever did a TikTok live. I wouldn't put it past her to do a TikTok live in the hospital, so who knows? But that is the gist on their TikTok account. And by the way, if you're wondering if the dad is involved, because I keep saying Alana, he released this statement on his Snapchat, and I found it on Reddit, as everyone else did as well. But it says, I figured this would be the fastest way to reach everybody, as I know everyone likes to gossip. For what it's worth, I had no idea what Alana was doing to Daisy. I pushed for those surgeries because in my heart, I felt it would help. I didn't realize that Daisy was being, the entire time causing her symptoms to be that way. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a good dad, and I do my best to love and protect my children. I should have done better for them. I'm sorry I couldn't protect Daisy more the way I should have. The children have been taken into custody under speculation I potentially had something to do with this. on everything I have ever known and ever loved. I had no idea what Alana was doing. Alana, you're an absolute monster. You win. To all four of my beautiful children, I'm dearly sorry. I dearly love you. I'm so sorry. I find that statement kind of interesting that he says she wins. It sounds weird. I don't know what anyone else thinks about that. Let me know what you think in the comments, but it's a weird thing to say you win. Everything else sounds great, but you win? That's a very odd thing to say. By the way, I'm sorry that the lighting has changed probably quite a bit. I am in Canada and it gets dark at 5 p.m. here, so that's why it'll be inconsistent, but I have a light in front of me, obviously. So when I read that statement, as you can see, it said 4 children because they did have custody of one more child. So they had 3 together and one other child from Brock's previous relationship, and they had custody of that child. So I've heard that that child is in custody, I think, with the mother, like the biological mother of that child. So that's great. But anyways, the reason I think why Brock came out with that statement, because people are up in arms, about sharing this on social media, but he came out and confirmed it with that Snapchat story, is there's this text message as well. I believe it's from Reddit as well. I don't know which came out before the other. I can't remember. I took so many screenshots, but it says here, my mate read the whole message to me. She said it all in there. She even told cops that she didn't know that the dad was giving it to Daisy, but all come out he is innocent and it was all her. So maybe he made that statement because he was getting accused by Alana that, she's trying to claim as if he did this and he's saying she did it. So we don't really know the truth. More people are on the side that Alana is the one who allegedly did this, but some people do believe maybe Brock knew to some degree. I'm not really sure what to believe, honestly. And there was also this same message within that thread that said no one knew what she was doing. She got a script when Daisy first went on the medication. The cops found 2 full bottles in the house when they searched it. Script is 3 bottles. She had given a whole bottle before Daisy went unresponsive and ended up in hospital. There's suspicion and just like people are just wondering how Alana would have got medication, because it has been said it's benzos or Valium or something that she gave her that was in her system, and that she had them when she first went on medication. This sounds like a text from one of the family members, because they all believe that Daisy is indeed sick and that her medical condition is a real thing and Alana just like exacerbated it. But there's a good number of people online who believe, at least on the Reddit, that potentially Alana could have got this medication after her first child was born and sadly passed, and maybe held onto the medication, or maybe, went to the doctor and said she was depressed and they gave her this and then she gave it to her child. Who knows? It's all alleged. It's all speculation at this point. But I don't know. If she's not actually sick, because it appears that she potentially could not actually be sick, her daughter, I think that, like, my rationale is thinking that she did possibly get a script from her doctor for treating her own. Maybe she had depression, because you can fake this facade on social media, but you maybe don't feel great, honestly, or she faked it. Like, who knows? Because it's all speculation, it's all alleged at this point. But that's just my thoughts. Yeah. So like I said earlier in the video, that Brock work FIFO work. So that's 2 weeks away, 2 weeks home. In Canada, we have that. People go up north and then go from all over the country to go up north to work out of town to just make better money than you could locally in like a trade type job. I believe he did mining, was the type of work that he did. But anyways, so the timeline of Daisy getting diagnosed, we don't know if it's true or not, it's all alleged, with TSC, which I'll put that in here, how to say it, because I do not want to get that wrong.
Tuberous sclerosis complex.
That was in June of this year, so in 2024. She says it was June 27th, 2024, to align with when she lost her first baby. And I will get to that in just a second. But the reason why I'm putting this in here is because of the thing that no one knew, and then the text that showed that she was trying to blame Brock. Well, here you can see on August the 3rd, she posted a solo parenting video. As you can see, solo parenting for the first time this weekend since Daisy's diagnosis, 2 kids with influenza. And then after this, she did another video about her and Daisy getting influenza. But what I find really interesting about this video is you can see here, I blurred Daisy, obviously. You'll see throughout the video she is blurred, but pay attention to certain things, and then I'll get back into it in a little bit.
I am solo parenting for the first time this weekend since Daisy's diagnosis, and Chase and Ellie also have influenza, so we're not off to a good start, but I believe in myself. We can do this, can't we, Daisy? That is actually so good. Before Chase and Ellie wake up, I like to set up all of Daisy's medication and set up her first feed of the day, just to try and get... I spoke too soon because Chase and Ellie have just woken up. Does Ellie want some milk? Yeah. You say yes, please. You're welcome now. Cheers. I've got Daisy's meds ready to push through her tube, but first I have to check her pH levels. This just makes sure that her NG tube is in the right spot in her stomach. Just grab a bit out of her tube and I just put it on this pH indicator. Oh my gosh, it's not coming out. Just need a drop. Yep, and that is perfect. So we are good to go. I'm going to push these through and then going to get her bottle sorted for the day. Morning. I love your pajamas. Thank you, Mommy. I just came into the playroom and found this. Is Chasey a doctor? They're currently playing doctors and it is so cute. He wants to check your ears. I was thinking today that I might share the signs and symptoms that I had in Daisy leading up to her diagnosis in the hopes that it could help someone. Even if it's just one person, that is totally worth it for me. I have been advocating for Daisy for about 5-6 months prior to her diagnosis, saying that I thought that there was something wrong with my child and I was just palmed off. We could have found out about this a lot earlier and started treatment. Even though there is no cure for her disease, at least there is a treatment. But let me know if that is something you guys want me to share, because I do not want another family to have to go through what we just went through. It has been so traumatic, and honestly, I am still healing. I am struggling every day. This is a lot. It is so overwhelming. We still don't know what the future looks like for us, and that is something that is very, very scary. If I can help one person in pushing to get answers, then that is 1000% worth.
So as you would have saw in that video right here, Daisy has an NG tube, or yeah, I think it's an NG tube, which is a feeding tube that goes through the nose and then leads to the stomach. You can see she's loading her feet. I have not seen anyone talk about this, and I wonder if allegedly, if this is all true, that because someone said she used a thing with like a sharp tip to put it in her body, you know, I think she could have easily put it in her feet, because you can so easily just use a syringe and push it through, like, because no one knows the type of thing that was used for her, like, and you wouldn't crush up a pill, you know, like there's no way you can dissolve that. So it's scary to think what she used. So besides TikTok, Alana also did Instagram, as everybody typically does. And as you can see here, this is just from her profile, from like one of those influencer websites that tells like what their following is and stuff. It says that she had 203,000 followers on Instagram. I don't know if she ended up having more than that after, but that's just her general thing. And her name that she also went by was Alana Schultz. So with this story covering it, she goes by Alana Harris now because she is married to Brock. But she also went by Alana Schultz, and later on I'll show you other names she went by as well. And then here it says where her social media career started. So she's her little profile here. It says, "My name is Alana. I'm a stay-at-home mama to 3 beautiful children, James, Chase, and Ellie. My social media journey started in 2021 when I fell pregnant straight away after having my son. Chase, our story went viral, gaining in 355,000 followers in 12 months. So that says that on her Instagram. So she would have had to have more, right? So this profile is inaccurate. But I vlog every day, and I love to show the real and raw aspect of being a mama of 3 with Irish twins born 12 months apart." In that little profile of the thing that made it go viral, you know, actually thinking back now, it said that she gained 355 followers, but I was confused, and it obviously is from TikTok, because if that account thing is probably accurate, and she gained it from TikTok because it was this TikTok that made her go viral in 2022 that says, as if like the doctor saying this to her, the IUD is the best form of contraception. And the New York Post and other local news in Australia actually wrote articles about this. And as you can see the title here, I gave birth to my son, got an IUD, then got pregnant immediately. My suspicion, a lot of other people's suspicion, honestly, is that she did this, like, people have children for content. Not that she doesn't want kids, obviously she does, but she got an IUD allegedly and got pregnant on it. And that's why she has, she went viral from this type of content, which that type of content goes viral all the time. But that was like her first, I think, taste of virality, besides like getting into local news, which I'll get in a little bit later. So before I get into more of this story involving Daisy and potentially her other kids being sick, just so much information to share with you guys. Illnesses regarding Alana, like this, of course I blurred all the kids, but I'm sharing their names just because, I don't know, I'm sorry if that offends you. But I want to get into Alana's whole history, like her work history, as much as I can. I was only able to find from 2018, but let's get into that part now. So as you can see here, this is her LinkedIn profile, Alana Smith. She worked at Hutton Real Estate in the Greater Brisbane area. And it says here she was the Director of Property Management at Hutton Real Estate. So she was like the rental property manager. It was her role there. And I did see Reddit threads of people sharing that, but I'm not going to share their screenshots. Like, whatever, is not really relevant to show like them saying, oh, she was my property manager, but then that's why I was able to find it. But like I said earlier about the different names that Alana went by, she also went by Alana Smith. I think this is when she was previously married, because she was married before Brock to somebody else. I couldn't find him, and he's not really relevant to share his information. But yeah, she was married previously and worked in real estate. And why she moved away was because of an illness that she allegedly faked, which I'll get into in a little bit. As I said, she worked at Hutton in 2018. I know she worked there going in 2019, but I just don't know how long in 2019. I don't know the specific months at all. But Hutton was located in the Greater Brisbane area. So Greater Brisbane, I would assume, is like just outside. I've never been to Brisbane. I've been to the Sunshine Coast before, but so then she moved up to the Sunshine Coast from there because I've seen on Reddit that it was apparently because of her alleged kidney disease. But before I get into that, I'm going to show you what she did with her husband in the Sunshine Coast. This photo dated, as you can see, June 28, 2019. I believe it was May 2019 when Alana and her ex-husband bought the cafe. It's Cafe Harmony Queensland, and they served Kai coffee, which is a coffee, I think, from Hawaii. So they're called Kai Coffee Harmony Cafe or something. I don't know. The names are like so different, but as you can see from the Instagram, it says Cafe Harmony, but they changed their name. I don't know. You'll see in another picture. But this is Alana, and it doesn't say her name, but that is Alana. She was the cafe owner with her husband from May 2019 until around May 2020. And here's another photo. This one is from Facebook from Cafe Harmony, December 11th, 2019. It's just her in the picture. They probably deleted traces of her ex-husband there. I don't know. I just assume, unless he wasn't like on social media. But there is pictures of a man like with his social media, but they also post their staff. So I'm not sure which one is him. And like I said, I'm not going to share him. There's really no point in sharing him. But so she owned the cafe with her husband from around May 2019 to May 2020. And then in May 2020, Brock and Alana took over. And like I said a lot earlier in this video, Brock and Alana met on Facebook in 2019. So who knows when her and her husband broke up, but seems like there'd be overlap, but I don't know how fast divorces can happen in Australia. But yeah, so her and Brock then took over the cafe in May of 2020. But I'm slightly getting ahead of timelines, and then I'm going to have to inch back a little bit into 2019, but I'm showing you this here that they own a cafe. So prior to being social media influencers, they were able to grind. They did hard work. They owned a business. She worked in real estate as a property manager. Like, it's not like those people who worked like lower end jobs. Not that they're like less society, because no one is if you work a lower end job, but and then gone to social media and like found the big bucks there. They worked hard. They both worked hard. And Brock, worked FIFO work, which is like 2 weeks away, 2 weeks home type of work, prior to getting off for medical reasons that he hasn't shared why. But they have the ability to work hard, but I guess it's easier to use your kids for content, which is absolutely insane. And this is another post proving that they own it. Obviously you saw their faces and it was all there. But Broxton is tagged here, and like I said, that was his full name. He goes by Brock now, but this is in May 2020, and that's with his first son. And it really is a beautiful cafe. Like, this looks like it's in like a dreamland. Obviously, Australia is a dreamland. I am biased because I've lived there before, but Australia is one of the most, if not the most gorgeous place in the world. And I also know the general timeline like a little bit because on their Instagram, they had posted October 21st, 2021 about new owners taking over. And then all the comments were flooding like, maybe you're the ones who are going to be able to make it work and all this stuff. And then just so you know, this cafe is located within, I believe if I'm getting this correct, within an apartment complex. Like they call it an estate, which maybe I sound stupid, but I don't know what that means. But I assume like a community, that's what we would call them here. It's like a community. So I wonder if that's the same community that she was a property manager in, perhaps, maybe. It's interesting actually because she had her virality and she started her social media career in 2021 is what she said on that profile, right? So potentially it was because she's a stay-at-home mom. She decided to be a stay-at-home mom, maybe she worked through her pregnancy, who knows? And then the new owners took over around this time, so the timeline is pretty like on point, I think. Okay, so I switched sides. Jumping back into the timeline a little bit, you'll see here on one of the articles written about them, there's so many different articles from even before her daughter got sick. As it says here, just a little caption for the photo, Harris revealed that she and her husband got pregnant on their first date. So this is a post that was shared on TikTok. I'll link the account here somewhere, even though the username's right there. But it's from Alana's Facebook. It says, this week has been, and it's from May 23rd, 2020. So I'm skipping slightly ahead, but I'm trying to show you a connection here. It says, this week has been a week from hell, not only for me, but for my partner, Broxton. As some of you are aware, I had a mini stroke on Monday. So another, like a health thing, right? That's interesting. That led us both feeling hurt and confused. That in and of itself was a lot for us to comprehend, and is still a mystery as to why or how it happened. But to also hear the news that there is a high risk of losing our baby girl had left us completely broken. That being said, not only are we grieving the potential loss of our girl, but also dad to say our final goodbye. And it's Broxton's stepdad, who actually sadly did pass. For those who play, which means pray, please, we ask for you to lift up both myself, Brock, and our precious little girl in your prayers. We are trusting in God for some sort of miracle. Please hug your loved ones a little tighter for me today, and you never know if it's going to be their last. And then she tagged Brock. So what's interesting about this is here circled is the time or the date, weeks of her pregnancy, 19 weeks, 1 day. You can start your anatomy scan around that time. So I'm not trying to accuse her of lying, but since she does seem to have a history of stretching the truth, we'll just say, I wondered, just like everyone's been wondering, okay, if she did this to Daisy, did she do something with her first pregnancy? And everyone's like, no, it was a stillborn, all that stuff. And then I found this post on a thread similar to Reddit, but just like a message board thing online I think it's for Australia, but I'll move myself out of the way here so I can read it. But like they're responding to the comment about like, did she somehow cause her stillborn? And someone said it was a medical termination. I don't know why she portrayed it as a stillborn. It was doctor's advice. Now, I commented on someone's TikTok the other day saying that I heard it was as actually a medical termination. And someone responded back to me saying, well, sometimes when people have medical terminations, they say they're born sleeping, which I totally understand because that is what happened. And I'm so sorry for anyone who's had to go through that. But I wondered, like hearing about her faith, I wondered if perhaps she didn't feel comfortable saying, and I don't know if anyone feels comfortable saying they've had a medical termination, especially in our world today, but I wonder, like in the Christian world, like I was raised in the Christian world, I wonder if she just didn't feel comfortable because based on that timeline of posting that, she probably had her anatomy scan and then learned something that the baby had that she could choose to terminate or not, right? So if this poster is correct, then she's calling it a still, which is fine, I guess. But for me, I always thought they were different, like even though, yes, they're born sleeping, I just thought they were different. And I think they're both equally awful. Okay, absolutely awful. But if it was a medical termination and she had said that the autopsy of that baby was inconclusive, that would be a lie. Because if it was medical termination, regardless if she chooses to call it stillborn or not, you would know that something was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So maybe she just didn't want judgment. But what's interesting about this timeline, because some people are like questioning her timeline of like, was she as far along as she thought she was, because she talked about how small her belly was always and all these pregnancies and stuff. Well, it's been circulating on TikTok. I haven't seen it on YouTube yet, but there's an account that screen recorded Alana sharing at church. She went to C3 Church Powerhouse Campus or church. It's like a Pentecostal church, like think Hillsong, if you're in the Christian world. I went to Hillsong College, like I was so involved in that world. But she was going to church and said she had stage 5 kidney disease, but that God healed her. And I know people in the Christian world definitely believe that God heals. And I got sucked into that growing up, and I don't really think I believe that anymore. Like, I don't know, but I'm going to play this for you. It's her sharing her testimony with the church. They've since deleted it, but I was able to screen record this person's or save this person's TikTok, and this person's TikTok is still up.
Oh, yeah. All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alana. I've been coming to C3 Powerhouse for a little while now, and ever since I walked through the front gates, I felt very welcome and instantly at home. A little bit about my story before I came to C3 Powerhouse. I've believed in God for many years, but I went through a season where I made my career and my business the total focus in my life. I felt that since I was working 7 days a week, I was too busy for church and for God. Working this much really started to take its toll on me, not only emotionally, but physically my body was starting to break down without me even knowing. I took myself to the doctors and was instantly rushed in an ambulance to hospital. I was confused and had no idea what was going on, but I was soon diagnosed with stage 5 chronic kidney disease. For me, I had no idea what this meant. To be honest, I hardly even knew what the kidneys really even did, but I quickly learned that my life was going to change. I was told that until they found a match for a kidney transplant, that I would have to do dialysis treatments 3 times a week to keep me alive. This was hard for me to swallow. I didn't know how I could cram in 15 to 20 hours of dialysis on top of my already busy work schedule, but I managed to squeeze it in. Being stuck in one spot for 5 hours at a time comes with its advantages. I was finally able to pause and had time to reflect on my life and the choices that I'd made. I knew deep down that I couldn't do this in my own strength and that I needed to lean in and trust in God. I started reading my Bible and found strength in God's words, but I still felt a little lost as I wasn't connected in a church. Then C3 Powerhouse started popping up in conversation, and by the third person asking me, I really felt God starting to tug at my heart, and I felt like I really needed to go and check this place out. I started attending church and I loved it so much that I started going to 2 services a week. I did Growth Track straight away, started Alpha, joined 2 Connect groups on alternate weeks, and now I'm serving in the hospitality and the creche team. A fire in my heart has been reignited for God. And then something amazing happened. Pastor John was asked to pray for someone, and not only someone with kidney pains, and not just specifically someone on dialysis and in need of a kidney transplant. At the time, I was not in the service. I was upstairs in Growth Track, but a few of the beautiful ladies came up to get me. I was a little nervous about being on stage, but in that moment, as Pastor John prayed, I could feel the presence of God working inside me. The next day, I went straight to the doctors to get tested and was tested again at hospital the next night. And my kidneys function had raised from 7% to 33%. To this day, it's slowly getting better and better each time, and I strongly believe that through the healing power of God, I will not need to get a kidney transplant.
So this video right here is from November 2019. And then this post here was also a part of that other one that I showed her ultrasound pictures and shared the news about potentially losing her baby and stuff from that same account on TikTok, which is this one right here. It says, I always thought it was strange that at 6.5 months pregnant, I had no belly and no signs of being pregnant at all. I will cherish this photo for the rest of my life, as it is the last family photo I have with her still in my belly. We love you so much, baby girl. You will be in our hearts. Or I added be. but sorry to laugh. This is not a laughing matter, obviously. So she posted this July 2020, but she said she lost the baby June 27th because it aligns with Daisy's diagnosis, right? Well, 6.5 months before this time is in fact November 2019. People have been wondering, was she going to miraculously have Daisy be healed, despite this going on for months and not seeming to have an end? That was a good outcome for her, for the 1-year-old. But I don't think so. I don't think she was going to say she was miraculously healed. I do not think that whatsoever. I think that she was miraculously healed because having stage 5 kidney disease, I don't think your body can get pregnant. I could be very wrong. I'm clearly not a medical professional. But when your kidneys are literally failing, that you have to do dialysis, which she claimed she did for, I think, 5 hours a day, and she was going to be or was on a transplant list for her kidney, I do not think her body would have gotten pregnant. And so obviously people assume that she lied about that and had no reason or had no idea why she was miraculously healed. Like all these followers following this case right now and who are following the family on TikTok and talk about it in Reddit and everything. This is the answer. The answer is that she got pregnant and she had to have a way out to say like, hey, I'm healed, because it wouldn't make sense that she got pregnant if she has stage 5 kidney disease. That'd be literally impossible, right? She couldn't explain that away. So instead, it's better to say that she got healed from her kidney disease. And along with those pregnancy photos that were shared on TikTok, this was also shared, which is this thing here. I don't know if you can say that, but she says, I wish I could say this, was for a horse, but unfortunately it's for me. And this is where she talks about, like she does in the church video, of her function going from 7% to 33%. I don't know where she came up with those numbers. And then here is the photo without all the words on it. You could see like the chair, you could see the whole background, right? It's cut off at the like line there, right? Like where the tube is, it's cut off there. And that photo, like I pointed out, the chair, how everything looks, she freaking stole this from another person on Instagram, Nick Gets Real, from a post dated November 28th, 2018, so a year prior. She stole this photo from this girl. And by the way, I'm not some amazing detective. Here on TikTok is the one that found it. She said that photo, I found the original post on Instagram, and someone said, OMG, is it? Even the caption too. And she says she posted like the exact thing, so it was so easy for me to find. And then going back to that photo, remember I read the other thing, she said it's like, looks like it's for a horse. She literally stole that from this one. It isn't for a horse. She stole even the caption. So this is messed up. Clearly fake. Clearly fake. Clearly she lied about the whole kidney disease because of this. Regardless if you believe that God or Jesus miraculously heals, she lied because she stole the photo from somebody else, So she, I guess, has a history of lying. And her history with talking about medical issues with herself doesn't just start with this allegedly made up kidney disease. It could be potentially starting here in childhood. I find this interesting that she says these things about childhood. And I was watching more videos of her daughter in the hospital and then like with family, and it made me think something else that maybe people will think is crazy that I'm even thinking about it, but I'll get into it after I share this video here.
When I was 16, I woke up during surgery. While they were operating on me, I had just gone in for a basic surgery to get my tonsils out, and I ended up in ICU. But I actually had a dream about this last night, and it reminded me of the actual event, and it traumatized me for years. But we actually don't know what happened, whether the anaesthetist didn't give me enough anesthetic or whether I was just like immune to it. When I woke up, oh my goodness, I was so angry. I like ripped everyone off of me. I was like kicking and screaming, and then I don't remember anything. I just woke up in ICU. But I feel like they should have looked into it further as to what happened, because I feel like the anaesthetist didn't do the right thing, because I have had a previous operation. I got a tumor out of my neck when I was a child, and I went under then, so it wasn't like a me thing, it was definitely a them thing. But has this happened to anyone before, or just me? Because surely I'm not the only one, but I kid you not, it was so scary. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is when I went in for my operation, I was living in Brisbane, and when I got out of hospital, I was living on the Sunshine Coast, so it felt so weird to be living in one house and then wake up and go home to a completely different house. Face is done, now to do my hair and get dressed.
So as you heard there, she had woke up in surgery and ended up in the ICU. If that was her first medical thing, is that what sparked all of this stuff like going on into adulthood? Or was it the other thing that she mentioned about a tumor in her neck? Now I think is a great time to share the video of her talking about Daisy ending up in the hospital, the first post that she ever shared talking about it.
We were just told that our daughter's brain is covered in tumors, and what is worse is that we found this out on the same day that our other daughter passed away 4 years ago. I don't know whether that's like Lily saying that she's here with us, or if it's just a really shitty day. But I need a coffee, so let's make a coffee together. I also don't have a coffee machine, and I really need a new coffee. Like, I really need a real coffee right now, but I've just got the stick ones. It's gonna do, it's gonna have to do. My kettle is boiling, so it might be a little bit loud, but I'm going to try and compose myself, but we are going through the hardest week of our life. And Daisy might need brain surgery in a couple of weeks because she has a massive tumor that's causing a lot of issues. I've known in my heart that Daisy had something wrong. She has been sleeping for like, I don't know, like 18 hours every night, and I've been going to the doctors about her since she was about 6 months old, and every single one pushed me away. They said, she'll grow out of it, she'll grow out of it. I'm like, she's not, she's sleeping all the time. Like, she's not doing anything. She's not like reaching for her toys. She'll just fall asleep. I even like messaged a sleep doctor to be like, I need like reverse sleep therapy. Like, I don't know how to keep my daughter awake.
What is interesting about her saying this is that Daisy was not the only one who slept for 20 hours or 23 hours, whatever, a day. She shared this video on her TikTok, which I have to fully blur because the kids are just in it.
The kids are such good sleepers. I can fully change their nappy, get them changed into different outfits, even a number 2 while they sleep. They don't wake up. Is this normal? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super grateful for really good sleepers. To be honest, Daisy is probably the best sleeper out of all of them. She goes to sleep in the afternoons, and I usually wake her up to go to school drop-off. Ellie must be growing or just tired today because she crashed again on the couch this.
And then she started the blank staring. And I had told the doctor on repeat, I think she's having seizures. I think she's having seizures. I think she's having seizures, and no one listened to me.
And again, she shared about this type of content before with her daughter Ellie when in like 2023. I think she was pregnant with Daisy at this point.
I've never experienced anything quite so scary in my life because Ellie just had a seizure and blew in my arms.
When we got to the hospital, her temperature was still over 40 degrees and it didn't come down for like several hours. She was so hot and sweaty, but she just wanted to cuddle us. I was really worried because we do have epilepsy in my family, but it just ended up to be febrile seizures. She is doing so much better now. I'm so glad she's back to her happy normal self, except now the rest of the house is sick. Our temperatures have all been over 39 degrees.
And then she started getting these like white patches all over her skin, like a little pigmentation. I'm like, why is her skin changing color? Like, what is happening? And I've been pushing and pushing and pushing to be heard because my mum, intuition, just knew something was wrong. And no one listened to me. I finally saw another doctor, and they agreed because Daisy wasn't using her legs at all. She's almost 1. She can only just sit. She can't crawl. She can't stand on her own feet, like with me holding. And we started physio, and he pushed for me to see a doctor. Then when I saw the peds doctor, I kept saying, I think she's having seizures. I think there's something wrong. There's something wrong in her head. I know it. I just knew it. And they were like, oh, oh, look, they actually said they think she's got Down syndrome. They said she's got all of the soft factors for Down syndrome. And I was like, that's okay, but like that doesn't explain her like seizures, her like interesting brain activity. So we got a genetic test done. And then she started having her full-blown seizures. And that's when I was like, nah, enough's enough. I need an EEG. Like, I need to know what's going on with my daughter. We got an EEG. It was 1 hour EEG, and she had 5 seizures in the space of that 1 hour while she was asleep. In that spot, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. They were going to keep her in, but they said, oh, it's a Friday. We don't really have the staff for it. So they sent us home. And then on Sunday, the Sunday just gone, she had a 7-minute long seizure. And that was, I don't know, if you know, like seizures are just not nice.
So I'm not going to play more in that video. There's still lots of minutes left in it. I think it was like a 10-minute video total. But what I find interesting about her sharing about the seizure activity is, being a NICU mom myself, I know that there's no way that they would allow her to, first of all, go home because it was a Friday, just because of short staff, with her daughter having seizures as long as they are. Because I don't know if you get oxygen when you have seizures, but my suspicion is you would be intubated if you had that many seizures. And she was never intubated, that at least that she shared online. So there's so many little holes in her story that just do not make sense whatsoever. Going back to what I was saying earlier about her potentially having tumors as a child, and then also waking up and being in the ICU, is wondering if these stories were true, because I saw this story shared on the Harris Family Truth TikTok, who's just posting like old videos and all that sort of stuff. They said this. I think it must have been, I don't know if it was a TikTok comment or on Reddit, but it says, in school, Alana made up an elaborate story about how her parents had cancer. When everyone found out she was lying, she left the school. So what I find interesting about that is that, was it true, first of all? And then second of all, in this video, which I'm about to play for you, is from July 15th, when everything was like quickly getting worse with Daisy. Her mom, Alana's mom, visits her and brings her food, and they're both like laughing. I don't know. I know some people, before they found out the truth, they thought that it was just like a coping mechanism for Alana to like disassociate and stuff. But looking back, knowing what we know now, and knowing that Alana has a history of allegedly perhaps lying about medical history with herself and with her child, is this a family thing? Because why would you pull your kid from school? If my kid was lying, I would go to the principal and just like explain to the school, like, we're going to get her the help. I wouldn't pull her from school. You know, she's lying about parents having cancer, unless the parents themselves are lying about having it. You know what I mean? I find that really weird. And just seeing how her mom is with visiting her in the hospital and like bringing her food and stuff, which is so nice to bring her food, right? But I don't know if I said this earlier or not. I can't remember. I've been talking for so long. But I am a NICU mom myself. My daughter was born and taken from me at birth immediately. I had like, I think 5 minutes with her, and then she was taken to a completely different hospital across the city, and I wasn't discharged till the next day. And I had her at like 1 a.m, and it was like the next day, like 12 hours later, and my baby had surgery day 1 of life, and then she has had 2 NICU stays since then. So I have experience. The reason even why I'm talking about this, not just because it's like a trending thing, because it involves a child. So like, it's not necessary to always make content revolving around children being used for content. You know what I mean? But I am a NICU mom myself, and I'm not making this about me. But what I'm saying is that Alana has allegedly lied about having all this stuff. Like, her daughter is in the hospital because of her infliction on her, allegedly, speculation, you know. But I know most NICU moms are like this. I never saw a NICU mom like eat a whole bunch. I wasn't smiling. There were times I didn't even eat. Like, I was 1 year, my daughter was a newborn, 7 weeks old. She almost died from RSV, and was almost intubated and was on the highest flow oxygen. And I was pumping at that time because she used to breastfeed. And then I didn't eat. So we were in the hospital we got there the day before in the afternoon by ambulance, me and my daughter, just me and her. And then by the next evening, or maybe 2 days later, I hadn't even eaten. It was 2 days later. I hadn't even eaten. And it was Christmas Day. And the nurse, I remember her saying to me, like, have you eaten yet? And I was like, no. And I started crying. And she's like, because she said, we have a plate, but at my NICU, you're not allowed to eat in there. So I had to leave my daughter. And I just like barely ate and then went back in. But I was like, all my NICU stays, I ate like banana bread. I would just like quickly eat a banana bread outside the room and then go back in. And yes, I love my coffee too, but that wasn't my first thought, you know? And I'm just so anchored, and I have literally cried myself to sleep a couple of nights seeing these videos of Alana with her daughter, because it is so sad to think about someone inflicting harm on a child and a baby, let alone. Maybe she was stressed having 3 kids so young, but she made that choice to have children. And it is just so wrong if this ends up actually being true, which it appears it is, but we don't know till the investigation continues. Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. But anyways, I'm going to play this video for you. Sorry for rambling for so long. I'm going to play this video for you of her mom seeing her, and it's just weird to me. And then right after that, I'm going to play a video of Brock bringing her in food, and he's dancing. So if he has no part in this, if he believes that this is all Alana and he had no idea, like, why would you walk in a NICU room dancing, you know, like that, when your daughter is so sick and you have no idea what's going on with her? Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, your food is not your focus as an adult. Like, you have to like force yourself to eat something. You're not like happy, excited ordering food. You know what I mean? Yeah. And NICU moms, you know, real NICU moms who didn't inflict anything on their child, no. Allegedly, you know, if she did.
We have had a rough night. We're just waiting for the ambulance now to transfer us to the next hospital. This is our second ambulance transfer in the last couple of days. But Daisy girl is currently asleep. She is really not doing too well. She's given us so many scares, but hopefully we'll find out some answers today. Also, my mum just called and said she's bringing me a coffee. Thank you.
In a Grammy style. Oh my God.
What have we got? What's that? Our orange juice.
Breakfast. I've got some bars.
Oh, how good, Mum.
I've got some nuts. I've got a mandarin. And I've got, that's what you do in like 2 seconds.
A toasted cheese sandwich.
Yeah, sourdough bread.
Oh, fancy schmancy.
And
Daisy is happy now that Brock is here.
Daddy!
You say daddy? Oh. Alicia's just come. She's bought me the best little goodie bag for Daisy and I. That's so sweet. That's okay. This is like her EEG monitoring, where it monitors all of her brain activity and also has like the video monitoring as well. Oh my goodness. But Brooke has come in with the goods. We've got our DoorDash. Hi, baby. I got the karachi chicken.
Oh my God.
Cheers. Skinnamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skinnamarink-a-dink. I love you. I love you. It's been a long day already and it's only 4 o'clock. I'm about to watch some Rookie on the iPad while Daisy just has a little nap here on me. But hopefully tomorrow will be a better day and we might have some more answers about what we can do moving forward for Daisy.
So you have to ask the question, what was the end goal with all this? Well, number one, obviously attention. She likes attention, it appears. If this is true, it appears like a lot of people who join social media, like we all do. I'm on social media. It's like, obviously it's for attention. You want clicks, you want likes, you know, whatever. And then also money, because this is from the Reddit, the Aussie TikTok snark Reddit or whatever for Australian influencers. But it says here, someone also said they get 10K a month from subscriptions. Apparently they had a subscription like how people do on their Instagram, you know, you can get exclusive content. They had it surrounding Daisy, which is that's like further insane freaking exploitation. Angers me to my core. 10K a month is so much. And then from the GoFundMe, they got 62K. And since all this has come out, the police have said that they can no longer access funds but they already did access the funds. They can't access any more funds. And then I saw this post somewhere. I can't remember if it was Reddit or that other message board I shared something else from. But this is a post that it says Brock, but really it's signed Alana on Facebook. They joined their community Facebook group, and then they were asking if anyone has any rentals in the area, that they can help them out, and like sharing their daughter's diagnoses and saying that they can pay. Where does it say? It says, I promise we have a great rental history and would be happy to pay at least 10K upfront in our rent, which goes with that 10K thing of Instagram, because that's like basically guaranteed money for them, unless people like don't want updates, which everyone clearly wanted updates on how Daisy was doing, because there was radio silence for like a month, because this all went down at the end of October. Like, I think October 19th to 21st. I heard the 21st is when she was released from the hospital. And by the way, people think it's Munchausen syndrome by proxy or fictitious syndrome. One of the deciding factors on if that is true, if allegedly if she did all this, is if the child is doing better without the care of the person who they were in their care of. And she is. Apparently she was released from hospital. She was sitting up almost immediately and eating normal for her age, and she's doing fantastic. So that tells you something for sure in my mind. But anyways, they were looking up, they wanted a place to stay in the Sunshine Coast, because apparently they moved from there and then wanted to go back there to live at the beach. And so their goal, in my opinion, one of them was attention. Second one is money. And then I'll share the next thing. And in one of the updates in this article here, it said that Alana Harris has revealed that her daughter Daisy will be going to palliative care. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. It seems like there's a lot of confusion regarding that type of care versus hospice. Like, hospice is end of life care, and palliative care, anyone can be on it any age for any number of years. Like, it's not end of life care, it's making them comfortable and managing symptoms, basically, is what I learned from my research. Sorry if I got that incorrect. But it seems that Alana, possibly, allegedly, speculation for me, is seeing it as possibly end of life care. She was saying like she was going to get released from hospital to go home and have a 24-hour nurse. So my mind is thinking worst case scenario on that. Maybe she was prepping the public for perhaps her unaliving her. Like, that's insane. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but I mean, she was allegedly doing this stuff to her daughter in the hospital, and she could have got caught then. But how she got caught was the nurses finding her Instagram and TikTok and being like, that's not right. That's not her diagnosis, or that's not what we're doing. I'm sure they were probably triggered by the palliative care information, because that is scary to hear that, if she perhaps thinks it's like hospice, and then who knows what would happen to Daisy. So thank God for social media in terms of like the nurses seeing it is unbelievable, and who knows what would have happened. I mean, we can all speculate, and what I just said, I think a lot of people think that that's what actually would have happened to Daisy if this would have continued. And this makes you think of the further conversation. A lot of us do disagree with child exploitation and sharing kids online, like as in sharing their life, not just medical stuff. Now, there's so much more that I could share. I have so much more information, but this video is already so long and I tend to ramble, which I'm sorry about. But I debated on showing Daisy's face, and I know people don't like sharing her name, but I don't have the editing software to edit out every little thing. It was already difficult for me to do her face because I edit everything on my phone. But I was watching these videos, and this is the one that made me cry myself to sleep. It's I'll share the short clip at the end, and her face is blurred. I don't want to share her face, even though it would portray the deep hurt and it's awful. So we know it's awful. But in this video at the end here with this frame, it's the very end of the video. It's just a short video about, Daisy and Alana getting influenza, because the early video I showed you, the two other kids had influenza. Is she says to her here, like, it's okay, and the look that she gives her mom, she knows what she's done to her, allegedly. She knows. You'll hear the sound at the end. She makes the sound at the end, and just the look on her face, you're not going to fully see the look at all because it's blurred, but I believe she knows, and that's what hurts my heart. It's like the thing where like dogs and babies know if someone's a good person is that thing, you know, like she knows about her mom. And so, and speaking of, my child is crying now, so I'm gonna tend to my child. It's late right now, well, 10 p.m. But thank you so much for watching this video. I wish Daisy the best, and I hope she gets true justice. And my heart aches, and like every mom in the world right now who's known about this story, our hearts ache. And yeah, have a great night, guys, or day whenever I get this video up. Bye, guys.
If you're wondering why it looks like I have been hit by a truck this morning, it is because I have also both tested positive to influenza. This is super scary because this is the first time Daisy has had an infection since her diagnosis, which can actually increase her seizure activity. So we are just going to keep a super close eye on her at the moment. Hey, it's okay.